We are back with a recap of the Ohio State Buckeyes taking it to Indiana today by the final score of 56-14. Ohio State putting up a dominant performance in not such great conditions. It was a little bit rainy and snowy, maybe. The cameras make everything look a little confusing as far as what's actually going on with the weather, but you could tell that it wasn't that bad. This game didn't feature the dramatic wins that the game against Northwestern did, but it was still not what you would call like perfect dome playoff game conditions. So nice to see Ohio State get a dominant win in not great conditions. The injury to Mayan Williams is definitely concerning. He had to get help going off of the field, and he was primed to have a career game. He already had his most yards in a half in the first half with, I think, it wasn't quite 150, but it was pretty much like 147. It was pretty much 150. But yeah, he was primed to have a career game. He was going nuts, and then he gets hurt. You don't like to see it. It was definitely something with his right leg or one of his legs where he couldn't really walk on it right. Not something you want to see. Dallin Hayden and Xavier Johnson getting running back reps after Mayan Williams left. Dallin Hayden down on the depth chart usually, but Travion Henderson was also out for this game. And Xavier Johnson is usually a wide receiver, but he had a really nice run near the end of the game. Again, Travion Henderson, he should be able to be back when needed, but obviously you would like to have both of those guys healthy at the same time. Right now they just kind of seem to be swapping back and forth between being injured and healthy and whatever. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a tremendous game. He is that guy. Both Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jackson Smith-Njigba showed out in the Rose Bowl, and Jackson Smith-Njigba kind of taking the mantle there because of his tremendous performance. And he had more yards, obviously, but Jackson Smith-Njigba has not gotten any help from the injury bug at all. Marvin Harrison Jr. has picked up that mantle and has ran with it. You're already hearing best wide receiver in the country already from him. That's tremendous to see, and he just continued that today. He had an amazing catch. I think it was in the second quarter where he somehow got a foot down on the sideline. It looked like, I thought he got hurt. Yeah, that would hurt my groin. My groin would be tore in half if I tried to do like the almost splits that he did on that catch. It was crazy. Cade Stover had multiple touchdown receptions. I love Cade Stover. Love watching him play tight end, and when he gets the ball and he runs into somebody, I think that was great. I was wondering why CJ Stroud was kept in the game for so long after it was pretty much done in the fourth quarter, but when it's all said and done, I believe it was worth it because it did get Cameron Babb his first touchdown as a Buckeye. You saw basically that, his moment with his mom who was in the stadium, and just how the entire Buckeye roster just came out and celebrated with him and were, loving on him and hugging on him. That was such a great moment that I don't have any complaints about CJ Stroud being in there for that long anymore. All of those went out the window when I saw Cameron Babb in that moment that he was able to have on that field catching that touchdown pass. The Buckeye defense was almost perfect. The Indiana drive at the end of the first quarter kind of exposing the secondary a little bit, working on that. Cameron Brown getting absolutely destroyed by A.J. Barner, just a bigger frame going up and getting that ball over Cameron Brown. Maybe you want to see Cameron Brown with a little bit more of a height jump, but like he's going to be shorter than some guys. Some guys are just going to catch that over him. But the secondary and the defense really stepped up after that drive. They made sure that Indiana wasn't getting much. Their only other score being in garbage time in the fourth quarter when the backups were out. And that was after a muffed punt as well. So definitely a dominated performance by the defense. Tommy Eichenberg was a difference maker. He had 3 tackles for loss. Lathan Ransom with a sack and a blocked punt that set Ohio State up for, I believe, Cade Stover's first touchdown receptions. I think both the offensive line and the defensive line played very well against Indiana. That was nice to see after some line struggles on both sides against Northwestern. Still, it was a little harder than I would like to convert third and fourth and short for the offense. You had some of those instances where, they tried to just hand the ball up the middle, and Indiana was able to stop them. That's something you want to see probably less of from the Buckeyes moving forward, especially as we get ready for that game against Michigan. But I think overall this was definitely an encouraging effort after a disastrous Northwestern showing. I feel like you look at this game and think that Ohio State is they're back on the map of being a dominant team. Everything that wasn't clicking against Northwestern clicked here, and hopefully next week against Maryland proves that the Northwestern game was more of a blip in the radar, that the wind really did play that much of an effect on this Buckeye game, and that the Buckeyes can get back into really having dominant performances over the lesser teams. They don't have one left on their schedule in Maryland. Hopefully they can put in a really stellar showing before they have their final ultimate test in the Big Ten regular season coming up against Michigan, who is also undefeated. So hopefully the Buckeyes can do that. The game against Maryland should be a cakewalk, and then after that, it's Michigan week. So thank you all for watching. If you made it this far into the video, please feel free to leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more like it. Let me know if you have something to say about this game that I didn't cover down in the comments below. Thank you all again for watching, and I will see you at the next one.